And here we go. I am Rocco's Most D, 1/3 of Chimera Team Gaming, also known as the GOAT. And I will be talking to you today about what I'm seeking in RPGs and the things that I like about them. But before we get into that, make sure to hit the like button, share it so your friends may know some of the new content that we got coming up. Or if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified of any new content that we may come up with, which we will have more in the future. So let's jump right into it as we have these candid conversations on what I'm seeking in when I'm talking about RPGs. And one of the main genre categories of RPGs that interest me are action adventure RPGs. And that's because I love the fast pace of their combat. And that combat really immerses me into the situation and the world. Another point, jumping right into it, like I said, is large scope. Just the depth of the game in an action adventure game or action adventure RPG. It's so large and vast usually that it gets me to want to explore and understand more of the world. So with that being said, not necessarily, most people would assume, it has to be an open world for you. Not really. I don't mind a semi-open world or a linear world. The most important thing for me is that even if it's on rails and we have a point A to point B, how many zones are there? And are those zones long and expansive and I can move to another zone eventually? Now, for me, when I think of open world, is like you just drop me off in the middle of this created world and then I can just go anywhere at any point given in time. And that's not the case when it comes to RPGs for me that I enjoy. It doesn't matter to me if there's zones that are broken up even by load screens and you're not dropping me off in this open world and I can go anywhere, because I respect especially very well done zones where okay, you're not ready to go to this zone and we're not ready to load you up because you have not progressed through the story, or the enemies may be a bit challenging on that area. And I don't mind the design of the game being put so I just don't go to the area until I progress through part of the story. And one of the major examples that I have for that is Destiny. People think it's full open world. It really isn't. You have all these planets that some of these planets you can't go to until you progress in the story. And I do not mind a format like that. Same thing with Mass Effect, the originals, where it wasn't really open world. It was planets that you can go to, you get loaded up. You just can't fly to them and just be there whenever. It had to be loaded in. And for me, an open world, it's a little bit more like, I'm gonna say a joke and it's not trying to be funny, it's like Anthem. Even though that game has gotten a lot of slack, that is kind of like an open world, or Assassin's Creed, which I haven't played. Assassin's Creed Odyssey I haven't played, but they just drop you off and then it's a large world. Or even The Division, you can literally just walk up to any zone. Are you gonna get killed and murked? Yeah, pretty much. But I don't necessarily need an open world of that caliber to consider an RPG good for me. Another thing that I prefer in RPGs are older times, medieval times, not necessarily modern. I wouldn't turn them down, but there's something about story in later times, in medieval times, in rural areas, like that just attracts me. And that goes also with the enemy design. So when you think about that, I'm always thinking dragons and such large mythical monsters and beasts that just won't fit in modern times. When in modern times what they use for enemies are like robots and alien sentient beings that just come down. It doesn't appease me too much when it comes to RPGs. So yeah, older times, the time frame that they're set in, when it's older, it really appeals to me. Another thing that's very important to me in RPG is the sense of danger. I don't feel like having my hand held by the designer that gives me a quest where I have to have my hand held to find the quest at all times. Like, all right, travel to this waypoint. I want to read the storyline throughout the quests that are been given, and then on my journey there, I want to feel like I'm going into this dangerous zone. It shouldn't be easy. I should feel like I need to be careful. I need to make sure I play my role as this character of this world very carefully, unless it's already given at the beginning that you are this super powerful being that's just on a quest to fight another super powerful being, so everything in between you and them is just kind of like just going through the motions. But that breaks immersion. I don't think a lot of people want to just be that guy. I mean, if that's the case, you just fight a fighting game and you just be one powerful character versus another powerful character. The other thing that I really love to see in RPGs that actually attracts me to get them is co-op or multiplayer, but not mandatory. I know that's gonna sound crazy to a lot of people, and I do want to play the game with my friends. I do want to know when, like, especially when they get creative and it's like they created a different character, that he or she that's my friend can also be the hero and they can join me on my quest to save this world. But at the same time, I can solo this by myself, and I wouldn't mind it to be co-op or multiplayer. But sometimes you just want to play alone and just go through the vibes of exploring the world and enjoy that. But the opportunity to link up with friends is very important thing to me. And again, it doesn't always have to be multiplayer. It just has to be the option of. And I think one game that I'm really looking forward to is Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding for PlayStation 4. That game will have a multiplayer something in it, according to the reports, and I am really looking forward how they're going to integrate that, to an RPG. Another RPG that is multiplayer co-op, but you don't actually get to play with your friends, that I really enjoyed was Dragon's Dogma, because your friends could create a character and you could add them to your party. I mean, to me, that was so innovative and fun. And even though that you and your friend were not in the same world cooperating, the fact that you can bring their creation to your world to take part in the adventure that you're trying to take part in, it was just an outstanding feature that they added to the game. And I really look for things like that, innovative, that kind of integrate your friend's experience with yours, whether it be co-op or multiplayer, or like Dragon's Dogma, you get to select one of your friend's creation and bring them along for your journey. And finally, one thing that really attracts me to RPGs is the choices that you can make throughout the game cycle and the story. There is nothing worse than just having predetermined outcomes in role-playing games. Even if you are playing this role of a hero, the choices that you make to get to the end result are so important to the immersion of the game, and it's something that it's just drawing to me when it comes to RPGs. And one of the best ones that I've ever played, and people actually like the other iterations of this game, was Mass Effect 1. Mass Effect 1, I felt that any decision I made, and Mass Effect 2 and 3 as well, but Mass Effect 1 for me, any decision I made, it felt like it had weight to it. There is nothing better than feeling that responsibility for all the characters that are involved in the process. Those things help get you into the atmosphere of the game. But without further delay, this has come up to the end of the video, and please let us know in the comments below, what is it that you seek when you're picking up an RPG game, and what things make you enjoy and recommend it to others if you love it. So without further ado, on behalf of Chimera Team Gaming, where we let our passion for gaming become a three-headed beast, thank you for watching. Again, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Rocco's Most D, out.